Hello, everyone. This is Marsha Lecour, Marsha's Moments with Men. And today we have a special guest that we will be having here momentarily. I have been conducting a series of Facebook Lives with men to give them a platform to share their passion and purpose in terms of how they make a valuable contribution to the world. And so we have today who will be joining us momentarily. Benjamin,
Hello.
how are you? How
Hey.
are things?
I'm well. And yourself?
Very good.
Very well. Very well. Thank you. And you?
I'm doing very well. Great to have you here.
Awesome.
So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's jump right in here. So why don't you tell us about the type of work you do and if the work you're currently doing is aligned with your passion and purpose?
So the work I'm in is natural medicine, integrative health practitioner. I'm working through some master's classes and a PhD candidate in natural medicine. And I really enjoy doing it. I love connecting with people. I'm really quite a information junkie, I think I would say. And it's really wonderful to see people shift. And whether I'm using, emotional, energy, psychology type things, or we're looking at nutrition, or sometimes very, very simple, in my opinion, simple things like a shift in the way, someone thinks or eats, or they take a supplement. It's amazing how quickly people can shift. Education is a big part of it for me because we don't know what we don't know, and I'm always surprised not only by the things that I learn every day, like today alone. There's been some great revelation, but a lot of people are not aware of the system or matrix that we're in here in Canada in particular, I'll reference. And so when we give them that education, then they become empowered and they can make better choices. And so is that aligned with my purpose? I believe so. I listen quite intently to my inner voice, my heart. I'm an intuitive medium, so I get very specific, clairvoyant, clairsentient hits, as I would refer to it, that help guide me. I look at my outer world as a guidepost if I'm going in the right sort of direction. I believe I'm just short of the bigger direction that I'm going to go into, and that will be more of, we'll call it more of a world stage approach to educating people and helping to empower them in this field. So I'm not so going to be focused on one-to-one practitioner clinic work as much as I would like to influence a vast majority of people. So that's where I'm headed. Thank you.
When you talk about a global stage, are you talking about doing that live so that you're going to different parts of the world? And will that also be like an online presence or one or the other? How do you see that?
Oh, it'll definitely be both. I believe my bigger desire is to have that direct in presence, on stage communication with people. I think that's what really jazzes me up, and I also believe that that's where my energy will shine better in connection with people like that. Without getting into auric fields and, our energy fields, which people can look up and, read a little bit on, the quantum science of all that. Yeah, can the intent happen just like in this conversation now? Yeah, we're going to impact people, and I will do that. But I think I'm going to be a lot more jazzed up, as will the people that come to live events. So that's where I would like to take it.
Now, why do you do this type of work? Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a great question. I do this type of work on the big picture because I feel it is a divinely bestowed request. I'm doing everything from following my heart to, as I've been telling people recently, Spirit is really pulling me from that chakra and basically telling me, well, we're going to do this, so you could come gracefully or you could come kicking and screaming, but either way, we're doing this. So that's partly why I do it. On an emotional level, I I will be honest that I've had a challenge through this entire experience in healing myself and not, or moving past the um, wounded healer slash savior type of archetype, because there's a big part of me that wants to absolutely heal and influence everyone. I want everyone to be well on every level. I mean, right now, if someone walked by on the sidewalk and I saw something, I would feel compelled that it's my responsibility to help them. And it's not. My responsibility is to do my work, my inner work, and share that and in a platform, and which I think is the platform that will be live more than anything. So I do it because it gives me incredible sense of purpose. It's what makes me want to wake up in the morning. And I was born with the desire of service to help people. I've always been intuitive, but I've done different types of jobs and careers, and the underlying theme has actually always been service, whether I was bagging someone's groceries or I was trying to make networks connect around for large corporations. I found that it was always about people power. It was always about building rapport. It was always about relationships and education and up leveling myself, and I believe up leveling those that also came into my presence. So it was for the most part, a mutual exchange of conscious up leveling. That's how I see it, anyway.
Now, let me ask you this question. Can you see yourself writing a book or a series of books down the road?
Yeah, most definitely. I do. I believe that that's a necessary part. I actually have two opportunities right now. Um, I believe, to coin some comments from an event that both you and I were at, with Les Brown and Byron Nelson. We all have a story to tell. And so I believe that, and I preempt that statement that way because I don't want to come across as though, I'm arrogantly saying I have a story that's going to influence people, but I have a story that will influence people because I have been through an incredible amount of adversity, experience. I think, and it's always evolving, but an incredible level of self-awareness. At times over analysis, and at other times extreme connection to flow, allowing divine communication to just flow through me. I believe this information and this experience will help a lot of people, because quite frankly, my observation is, um, just like probably many of the people that are watching this now and will be watching this, a lot of them are probably the choir. But I'm going to tell you, the choir is still very, very small on the planet. So yes, I need to get my story out in book form.
And so, do you have some kind of tentative launch date in mind for your first book?
A tentative launch, I'm going to say, I'm going to put it more as a commitment that I would like to have something in 2019,
Okay.
because my story, the story never ends, and I could tell some great stuff already, but I feel, between you, me, and the whole world that is hopefully watching us right now, I believe that I'm on the cusp of something just a hair more incredible to add to that story. Mm-hmm.
And I would second that. So you would have your book out, we could say, by December 31st, 2019, midnight.
Absolutely, that will be the latest.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. So
Perfect.
so let's change direction here. What do you think are some of the issues and challenges that men are facing today in 2018 from your perspective?
Oh, that's a big list, but I think maybe what's most important to me is, males losing their identity. Men, we have lost what I have only maybe more understood more and more. I've just turned 41. It's still young in a lot of ways, but it's certainly not just a spring chicken. And I think one of the biggest things that we have lost are male camaraderie, male support. We have lost the what do they call them? Like the silver fox. We have lost the sages communicating important information down to people like me, and further on to people like my son in their late teens and 20s. We've become too much of an island unto ourselves. I believe that we men, let me put it this way. I would say that 90+% of my clients and the people in this, we'll call, general conscious evolution on all levels, happen to be women. And it's either due to the fact that men are unwilling to do the work, or they've grown up with false beliefs that they're not allowed to cry and everything's too soft, and a real man is something other than one that can be expressive and hold a divine alpha position that protects the world, educates the world, co-creates with the feminine, protects the feminine. We've lost all of that stuff, and so that's the biggest thing. This is a spiritual experience that we need to be on, and it's fine that, say, some other countries and tribes and things like that maybe behind in terms of, we all know countries, for example, where women are second class still. On the same token, I would be happily willing to risk uh, any challenge from anyone to what I see as masculinity being suffocated by the in many cases false feminine and or wounded feminine that are trying to wake up in this country. So we got to do our work, guys. This is all I'm saying. Because if we don't step up and do our work, then we're just in an opposite pole of matriarchy and versus patriarchy like we've had. So we got to step up and do our work. And I implore men to be okay with their emotions, be allowed to cry, bring up stuff that's going on, and talk to your buddy. You know, it's not just your wife. I mean, get together with your buddies and start to share some some feelings and what's going on, and share openly and honestly. And that's one thing. To go slightly off topic, a lot of people like to bust on the millennials, but one observation I've had about the millennials that's on the positive is that they seem to be, for the most part, more open and prepared to discuss their feelings. And you got to do it, because emotions are killing us when they're getting trapped and blocked. So that's, I mean, again, there's a lot of issues, but those are the main ones for me that I believe are a catalyst for important change that will dribble down to wellness of self, family, community, country, world, universe.
Now, you and I have talked about this. I think at one point you were in dialogue with another gentleman who shall remain nameless, and I think you and he were thinking of creating some kind of community for men at some point.
Yes, you know, this has been in my own challenge, and you know, things that have gone on in the past few years. It's been a deep desire of my own to say, geez, we got to pull men together and support. And it's a real blessing to have had someone, yes, that I spoke to recently say, hey, I think we need to do a men's thing. And it's interesting because I'm really excited about it. And there is a, believe it or not, a mild apprehension around it, because my life has been and continues to be surrounded by almost exclusively females, feminine energy. I mean, some females are able to carry more masculine energy, but for the most part, it's all this feminine energy. And so I'm kind of excited in the sense of like, oh, what, actually, why don't I put it like this? I'm going to share this vulnerability that I think an element of apprehension there is, despite what I believe and, you know, have been, I think, honestly communicated to, that I hold a strong masculine presence. I had very poor masculine examples in my life. I had a father who abandoned, and you know, and then all of the additional fill-ins were the perfect example of people that, you know, probably should have been lobotomized or sent back to the Roman Empire to be gladiators. So I know it's a judgment, but I didn't have a good example. And so this is why I also think it's important to be able to have these kinds of groups, so that we can share this type of thing and gain some strength to remember, to really remember what it is to embody divine masculine beyond the, you know, lower chakras.
Well put, well put. And let's finish with this question. What's one powerful tip that you would leave for man today? What's one powerful tip you want to lead out here with man?
It's going to be similar to something I spoke about a few minutes ago. I highly recommend that you begin today to not suppress the thoughts and emotions that you're having, and find a buddy, or if you are in a healthy relationship, whatever that is, to start to share that, to start to open up and find your vulnerability. Because this is where you're going to heal. You've got to go to that place, and healing yourself is going to help heal, like I said, yourself, the family, the community, your town, country, world, universe. Please do it for yourself. You'll see a huge improvement in our world.
Benjamin, I want to thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been great having you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.